Yo, what is going on, y'all? Thank y'all for tuning to another episode of Vlad Sports Talk. Another week here, back at it once again in the humble abode, a place where I love to be at the top to talk sports with y'all, to chop it up with y'all, man. Thank God for another week. You know, as all the kids have went back to school, you know, I wish that y'all have a great school year. Whether you're a freshman, senior, sophomore, junior, first day in or about to be your last day out very soon, whatever the case may be, I wish y'all nothing but the best in this new school year. Wish y'all nothing but success as well too. Hope that God keeps y'all safe throughout the whole school year. Over here tripping on my words. Just want to thank God for another day. First and foremost, always want to thank God for another day, because no days are guaranteed. Those days are promised. No, the next minute isn't promised, the next second isn't promised. So I'm definitely grateful for the fact that I do get a space and a place to do this and talk it up with you guys, at the end of the day. So thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Thank y'all so much. Before we even get into the sports segment, because it won't be a long episode today, because the preseason week one already done wrapped up. Week two will start back again on Friday, so I'll be back next week with more to speak on that. But before we get into that, I just wanted to first give a shout out to my boy Rico. Y'all can't see him in the camera, but y'all know he's always all around. There was one topic that was on his show, the Freestyle Anime Podcast, when they went to an anime con in Orlando. Shout out to those boys over there. About somebody, I don't know who it was. I don't know whether it was a male or a female. I mean, if it's a female, I have to be respectful as much as I don't want to be respectful. But about the comment saying that Korra was better than Avatar. Now, granted, I understand that, most of these kids born in these day and age, like they're going to gravitate towards the newer things. And I get that, like different ages, different age group, different generations. I understand that. But excuse my language, fuck that, okay? Because I don't understand how you can say with your whole chest and your spirit that The Legend of Korra was better than Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, as we was chopping off camera, like my favorite character in Avatar was Uncle Iroh, one of the most level-headed dudes on the show, if not the most level-headed dude on the show. Like, all he just wanted to do was just play pie show and drink his tea. That's literally all he cared for. But what significant characters like Zuko, like Aang, Katara, the list just goes on and on and on. Like, I don't even know where to keep on going. Like, that's the show that I grew up on, and most of us grew up on that show right there. Like, there's significant moments when Zuko learned how to, throw lightning back, control lightning and throw it back, because his sister Azula learned it first. There's also my favorite episode in Avatar: The Last Airbender, the drill, where they was trying to infiltrate, the Fire Nation was trying to infiltrate Ba Sing Se, and Aang ran up against the wall and came right down and jumped on the little boulder thing and sent Azula flying. Like, there's a lot of, even the first episode where they first got introduced and Buddy ended up sneezing and flew about 400 feet in the air, if I'm not mistaken. Sokka dating the moon spirit, and with her ended up giving her life. Like, it's so much. It's just so much, like Avatar: The Last Airbender was way better than Legend of Korra. Like, don't get me wrong, like I watched The Legend of Korra. It had its good moments here and there. Like, I had some laughs here and there. Like, Bo Lin, he was a funny dude. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I love this character. Like, he was funny. He was carefree. But that show is not better than Avatar: The Last Airbender. Even on the last episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, when Aang took away the Fire Lord's firepower, he could have killed them. Everybody was telling him to kill him. Everybody. And hopefully they do a show about her, but I only heard about her through the shows was Avatar Kyoshi, because apparently she stood on business. No matter what it was, she stood on business. So I want to see a show about Kyoshi. But every Avatar was telling Aang, you gotta kill this dude. And Aang found another way. He went to the sea turtle. Sea turtle showed him what to do, and he took the firebender. Like, come on, man. This is just, even when they added Toph to the group, you thinking she like a rich girl, good girl, like don't cause no trouble. She blind. She can't help herself, man. Yo, Toph was OP, man. Like I was saying, like it's so much in there. You know, Katara bloodbending for the first time, like learning how to bloodbend. Like, dog, the Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of those shows. Like I said, Appa and Momo, even though like they couldn't talk, like they had their moments in that show too. So I just wanted to get that off my chest, because whoever said that, male or female, you're fried. And you need to be drug tested as soon as possible, because there's no way you said that with your chest, your soul, and your spirit, that Avatar, that The Legend of Korra is better than Avatar: The Last Airbender. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're not doing that here. We're not doing that here. But moving right along, I had to get that off my chest. Moving right along. As I said, NFL preseason week 1. Well, yeah, week 1. Yeah, because the Chargers and the Chargers. Who the Chargers played that first game around? Was it Chargers and the Titans or the Chargers and the Colts? I don't know, but I know that the Chargers played in the Hall of Fame game, which, you know, I had done said last week. And congratulations to Jared Allen, Eric Allen, Antonio Gates, and Sterling Shopper making the Hall of Fame. You know, becoming that new class into the inductees as well too. Now you're forever etched in NFL history. Forever etched in NFL history. One of the best to do it at your position, and you're being recognized by your peers, by the voters, by the fans. Like, that's a beautiful moment right there. So shout out to those guys right there. And as I said, preseason coming in week 1, as I told y'all that, you know, that I gave y'all some of my players to watch, but some players that came across my screen that caught my attention, or, you know, for not the wrong reasons, but just popped out in my mind. Jackson Dart had a pretty good solid preseason week 1. They played the Buffalo Bills. He was 12 and 19, 154 yards and 1 touchdown, 3 carries for 24 yards. And the New York Giants ended up beating the Buffalo Bills 34-25. He was pretty solid in that game. Jackson Dart was pretty solid. He is a rookie. They did trade back into the first round to get Jackson Dart. He went to Ole Miss to get back Jackson Dart. And he had a pretty solid game for week 1 in that preseason game. You know, like, I feel like the main thing for Jackson Dart is just to sit back there and learn from Russell Wilson, who's a veteran in this game, you know, who's been there, who's done that. Even Jameis Winston, who had his fair share of, you know, he's also a true vet as well too, but he's had his fair share and whatnot. You could learn a circle from those guys. Like, I don't think that you should just rush Jackson Dart out there. Like, I don't think that's necessary. You have Russell Wilson right there. Like I said, a true vet. You got him on that 1-year deal. Let him play out this 1 year. I mean, there may be a time where we see Jackson Dart out there in the field, depending on what the playoff seedings may be, depending on where they stand in their division or within the NFC race. But neither here or there. Jackson Dart, he had a pretty solid first game for the preseason, and there's 2 more left, so definitely expect to see more of him moving forward. But as I said, like, I just feel like the right move for Jackson Dart is to just sit back this 1 year, you know, soak up some knowledge, you know, learn from Russ, learn from Jameis what you can learn from, you know, at the end of the day, because soon enough this franchise is going to go over to you. That's why they drafted you for. That's why they traded back into the first round for. You know, at the end of the day, like, I don't got to get into a little controversy thing or whatnot, but at the end of the day, like I said, like, Jackson Dart was one of the best quarterbacks in this draft. He was one of the best quarterbacks, and it showcased on that first week of the preseason game. So just have him sit that 1 year, you know, and then shift over the keys over to him. So he had a pretty good, solid preseason game. Cam Ward, Tampa Bay when they played the Tennessee Titans when they played the Tampa Bay Bucks. They ended up losing the game 29-7, but Cam Ward 5 of 8 for 67 yards. His night was relatively short, but Cam was showcasing what Cam showcased at Miami. As I said, like, Cam Ward's story starting from literally the bottom. I don't believe he got any offer like letters. He didn't get, like, I don't think he was like even it had any stars next to his name. And him working his way up pretty much to where he's at now. And as I said, like, him, I think before he came to Miami, I believe he was at Washington. I believe he was at Washington State. I have to go back and check up on that. But what he did in Miami for that 1 year was special. It was absolutely special. And Cam deserves, you know, a lot of credit. I understand they didn't end the season, you know, in the playoffs as they wanted to, or they didn't win that Pop-Tart Bowl like they wanted to, but neither here or there. We see why Cam Ward was the number 1 overall pick. Cam has a great arm. The way that Cam can just sit in the pocket and deliver the throw, he's poised in the pocket. He can move his feet if needed to, and when necessary. Like, the Titans have their quarterback in Cam Ward. And Cam Ward, he's a hard worker. Like, he keeps his head down and he works hard. He works hard. Like I said, the night was short, but in this short sample size, I liked what I've seen from Cam Ward. And also on the opposite side for the Tampa Bay Bucks, we've seen, Deion Sanders' son, Shiloh, also out there on defense as well too. I've seen him on special teams a couple of times as well too. So Todd Bowles has been very fond of Shiloh. He's given him some good praise and given him some good comments. And I've never known Todd Bowles to do that before. So that means that Shiloh is definitely trending in the right direction. So, hopefully I pray that Shiloh does make the roster. But as I said, for Cam Ward, Cam, he's going to be a special quarterback to come in this league for a very long time. And as I said, it's going to take time. It's going to take time. He's a number 1 overall pick. He's going to have that chip on his shoulder. As I said, with Tennessee, like, you just got to be patient with him. They have C. Rid over there. They got Tyler Lockett over there. They got Tony Pollard. They got, Taj Spears over there. They have some pretty solid weapons and some pretty solid pieces around Cam Ward. I don't expect them to win that division. Obviously, I feel like Houston is going to win that division, but I feel like Cam Ward will have a pretty solid rookie season. I feel like he'll have a pretty solid rookie season, and I'm looking forward to seeing him progress. Because as I said, like, just that 1 year what he did in Miami, and as I said, even before then, working his way up until that point, and now coming into the NFL, and like I said, like, you see training camp videos of him making these tight windows throws, these difficult throws, stepping in the pocket, avoiding pressure, keeping the poise in the pocket, like, he's acting like he's been there, done that before. And that's how your quarterback should lead the team. That's how the number 1 overall pick should lead the team. Like, he's in there early in the morning. He's he's out of there late at night. So this is a guy that takes it seriously. This is a guy that lives, eats, and breathes football. So the Cam Ward, best of luck to you. I hope to see more of you. I believe they play on Friday against the Atlanta Falcons. So we're definitely going to see more of Cam Ward for this next preseason game. Another guy that I wanted to speak about was Travis Hunter, obviously the unicorn that plays both sides of the ball. On the offensive side, 2 catches for 9 yards, and he played some defensive snaps. Pittsburgh ended up winning that game 31-25. Before I even get to Trav, I need to get his name first. I have to get his name first, because I know y'all seen that 70-yard kick. I know y'all seen that 70-yard kick. Oh, is this him right here? I hope this is him. I pray this is him. There we go. Cam Little. I understand this preseason, so I know y'all going to be like, hey, y'all not going to have to buy that. I don't give a damn. Like, if it was in the regular season, it would have counted. In my mind, it counts. Because before then, it was when I think it was the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, the Baltimore Ravens was playing the Detroit Lions. Justin Tucker had kicked a 66-yard field goal. That's never been done in NFL history at all. That was the longest field goal in NFL history until that preseason game. And as I said, for me and other people who watched it, that kick counted. I don't care, like I said, I don't care if it's preseason or not. Cam Little kicked that field goal from 70 yards. 70 yards. I mean, you knew that drug test came, obviously, as soon as he got to the locker room. But neither here or there. To kick the ball 70 yards, insane. Absolutely insane. And like I said, if you do it in the preseason, who's to say in the regular season, they may come down to the nail biter, 3 seconds left, 70 yards, and he does it and wins the game. As I said, if you could do it once, you could do it again. Before we seen Tuck do it 66 yards, now this dude here, Cam Little's hitting a 70-yard field goal. Yo, that's wild. But like I said, for Travis Hunter, 2 catches for 9 yards and play some snaps on defense as well too. As I've been stating, I personally do feel this way. I feel like Travis should be primarily a defensive back and have some packages on offense. That's just me. Everybody may have a different opinion, and you may think the other way around. Whatever the case may be, I get it. But Travis Hunter is naturally a DB. That's his position. Like, that's where he flows at. That's where, he excels on both sides of the ball. Like I said, he's a unicorn. He excels on both sides of the ball. But I just feel like he's just prominently a DB. Like, it's come so easy to him. It's just first-hand nature, second-hand nature as a defensive back. Offense, like I said, like, You got Brian Thomas Jr. on that side. You got Travis on that side. And, Trevor Lawrence did make a comment where he was like, do you want to catch touchdowns from me or do you want to, get picks? And obviously the competitor in Travis, he going to be like, both. Capital B, capital O, capital A, capital F. Shout out to both. He going to say both. But in my estimation, as I said, I think that Travis should just primarily be a DB and have packages on offense. They're still going to put him both ways because I know Travis and the competitor in Travis, he wants to be on that field. He does not like being on that sideline. He wants to be out there on that field. He wants to make plays, whether, to win the game, whether it's offensively or defensively, whether it's to get a first down or whether it's to get a stop, to make a key block or to get that pick or whatever the case may be, key tackle, forced fumble, whatever the case may be. I know Trav, he's a playmaker and he wants to be on that field. He wants to be on that field and I commend that wholeheartedly. But, I want your career to last. I want it to last. Because you're coming in at a young age, and as I said, now you're in the NFL now. You playing amongst these grown-ass men, and to go against these dudes on an every Sunday basis, I think the next preseason game is when they play the Cincinnati Bengals. So if the Bengals play some of their starters how they did last week against Philly, you're going to see Trav against Jamar Chase, and Jamar Chase is a vet. Jamar Chase is coming off of a triple crown. Jamar Chase is the highest paid receiver in the NFL. Jamar Chase is one of the best receivers, if not the best top two. It's him and Jettas right now. Him and Jettas. I think for me, Jefferson is one and Jamar Chase is two. However you want to do it is what it is. But one of the best receivers, hands down, right now in the game. So to get a test like that, that's gonna show you a little something. That's gonna show you a little something. As I said, so we're gonna see what happens with Trav moving forward. As I said, I wish nothing but the best for Trav, as all of us do. I mean, he wear 12, and ironically, the next dude that I'm talking about, he wears 12 as well too. So they both wear number 12. But yeah, man, we wish nothing but the best for Travis, man. So hey, like I said, whether they use you primarily on offense and sometimes on defense, or primarily on defense and sometimes offense, at the end of the day, like, you're going to have a hell of a career. I know it. I know you're going to have a hell of a career. And as I said, it's just a learning process at the end of the day. You just get better week by week by week by week. So, we're going to see what happens over there in Jacksonville. It's a new era for them, new head coach. As I said, Trevor Lawrence is looking to have a big season himself too. So he's going to need all the help that he can get. As I said, you playing over there in the AFC South with the Texans. You got the Colts, y'all, and the Titans. So as I said, the Texans are going to be the division winners in my opinion. But hey, Jacksonville, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a big year. I honestly would not be surprised. So let's see what they do over there. And as I said, moving forward to the other dude who wears number 12, which everybody was waiting for, Shedeur Sanders. As I said last week, and I just have to read these comments again because it's going to get to my point. Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam pushes back on claims he influenced Shedeur Sanders' pick. Okay. So this is what the owner had to say about the Shedeur Sanders pick. We have a good process, okay? And if you told me Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur, I would have said, that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning. Then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur. Just like who's going to start, what play we're going to call is Coach Kevin Stefanski. But that's Andrew's call. He made the call. What was the point of these comments, Jimmy? What was the point of those comments? What was you trying to get? What angle you was trying to get at? Did you want a cookie for those comments or something like that? I don't understand like what you was trying to say with the like where you was getting at. You thought that we were supposed to be happy about that? Because we all seen what was going on in that draft with Shedeur Sanders. Everybody seen it out there on live TV. 5 rounds. Picked in the 5th round, 144th pick. And as I said, nobody looked happy. We see it with our eyes, and you making this comment just makes it like known that, hey, that wasn't my call. So to having those comments right there, to being picked 144th, which I believe Shedeur Sanders was, if not the best, the second best quarterback in this NFL draft behind Cam Ward. So to get drafted in the 5th round, 144th pick, coming into a Browns camp where a lot of people were already doubting you from the jump, from the get-go. Then, not even on top of that, coming into this game, before this game, Shedeur Sanders was listed 4th on that QB depth chart. 4th. So I'm assuming Joe, Kenny, Dylan, and Shedeur, and they just signed Tyler Huntley. Laughable. 4th on that depth chart. Everybody talking about, he doesn't care about the game, or he only cares about being flashy, or he doesn't put the work in or anything like that. If he didn't put the work in, how did he get to this point? Y'all know who this man dad is. Primetime Deion Sanders. Hall of Famer. Best cornerback of all time. All time. And he instilled that in his kids. So as I said, going through draft, training camp, mini camp, not getting enough reps at all. Mind you, like I said, 4th quarterback on that depth chart. So you barely getting any reps as it is. So, because I believe I heard Tom Brady say this, like, make the most of your opportunities. Like, if I get 1 rep, that 1 rep is going to be my best rep. If I get 2, those 2 reps are going to be my 2 best reps. Shedeur Sanders but still having a great mini camp now, having a great training camp. As I said, not getting no practices with the ones at all, just mainly 2s and 3s. But as I said, not really getting any reps. Coming into Friday's game, this was going to be the most talked about game. Why? Because as I said, with everything surrounding him. And what did he do? He didn't fall to the pressure. He shined. He shined under pressure. 14 of 23, I believe was 138 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. He led 3 touchdown drives. The other one was a jet sweep around the corner. He had 2 carries. I think, no, it was 4. Was it 2 or 4 carries? Let me see. Shedeur Sanders, there we go. 14 of 23, 138 yards, 2 TDs, 4 carries, 19 yards. They won the game 30-10. And as I said, he led 3 touchdown drives. He gave himself, he gave himself a C+ or a C-. I'm going to give him a B+. Yes, there was some throws that I wish that he could get back. And he wishes that as well, too. He wishes that as well, too. A couple of times where he, ran out the pocket, where I kind of seen in Colorado where it's like, get rid of the ball. Don't take the sack, get rid of the ball. But neither here or there, he took care of the football. Threw 2 touchdowns, 2 beautiful touchdowns. First one was in a tight window. I don't even know. I thought it was going to be a pick. I'm not even going to front. Beautiful throw in the corner of the end zone. Not only that, also on that second touchdown, avoided the pressure, stepped up in the pocket, and threw another touchdown. Then there was another play where he extended the play. He got out the pocket, found the tight end, made a beautiful one-hand catch. Shedeur Sanders did everything right in that game. And as I said, I get it. Y'all going to be like, oh, it's preseason. It don't mean nothing. That right there means something because that is your tape right there. And you're just going to, and the scary thing about it, he's going to continue to build on that tape. He's going to continue to build on it. So whether that's going to be with the Cleveland Browns, whether that's going to be with another team, somebody's going to go out there and give this man an opportunity. Because right now, I read before he even came over here that he's still number 4 on that depth chart. How in the hell is he still number 4? As I said, Joe Flacco being a veteran, I understand that. And I never said Shedeur was going to start at the beginning of the season. But Joe Flacco being a veteran, what has Kenny Pickett shown you to be number 2? What has he shown you? Dylan Gabriel really ahead of Shedeur Sanders? In what world is Dylan Gabriel ahead of Shedeur Sanders? I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but I'm just being completely honest. Before Dylan Gabriel got to Oregon, he was at UCF. Unless I heard his name here and there, I watched him here and there. But Oregon is mainly the ones that people are going to think about. Obviously, with Coach Dan Lanning, what he's doing over there, great job, by the way. But Shedeur Sanders is number 4? Really? He's number 4? That's just laughable. As I said, and not only that, a clip after the game is when he confronted the Cleveland's reporter, Tony Gross, whatever his name is, Tony Gross. Tony Gross speaking nothing but negativity against Shador. Nothing but negative comments about Shador. And Shador handled it with class. Literally, he could have been hostile. He could have sized up Buddy, or he could have went up to the podium and called him out. But no, he came face to face. And as I said, in that moment, that's how you can see that's Deion's son. He came face to face, and he did it. And he did it with politeness. He did it with class. I know a lot of people would have had a whole bunch of more words for him. I probably would have been one of those people. I ain't gonna much lie to you. But Shador handled that with class. And that takes a lot. That just shows you that this guy, he's ready for that moment. He's ready to lead. At the end of the day, he's human. He's going to make his mistakes. We all human. We're going to make our mistakes. But at the end of the day, as I said, he's going to continue to keep on building on this. So if it's not in Cleveland, I guarantee you it's going to be elsewhere. And if he does stay in Cleveland, he's going to start at some point. He took care of the football. He did what needed to be done to win the football game. As I said, y'all going to say it's preseason or don't overreact or anything like that. I don't care about that. Because as I said, from a dude who wasn't really getting any reps at all, then we seen the clips of the videos, of them in camp and him making these throws, him stepping in the pocket, him avoiding the pressure, him throwing these touchdowns. And then, as I said, to come to Friday, to know that he was starting, and did y'all even see the stands? There was so much 12 jerseys. There was so much 12 jerseys. There was so much Colorado jerseys. There was so much people supporting Shador Sanders. So much people. And I love seeing that, man. Whether you a fan, whether you're a fan of the Browns or not, regardless of the fact, bro, we are rooting for number 12. We are rooting for 12. And his number will be called again very soon. I guarantee you that. His number will be called very, very soon. That small sample size that y'all seen, and he started for majority of that game. That sample size that y'all seen right there, he's coming back. He's coming back. And I know he said that he let his pops down, but at the end of the day, as I said, you took care of the football. You won the game. And honestly speaking, bro, you did a good job. And that's what I said. I give you a B+. As I said, I know there's some throws that I wish you could have made or you could have took back, but, I know he said he wasn't nervous, but it was just him getting comfortable. You feel me? Now you're in the big leagues now. But at the end of the day, Shador, you did exactly what you needed, what needed to be done. You did exactly what needed to be done. As I said, if not the best, then the second best quarterback in this NFL draft. Don't argue with me, argue with your mama. That time's coming soon. I don't got no watching me, but perfect timing. Perfect timing, all right? But heading over to the scarier side of things, obviously with the Miami Dolphins with their preseason game. Before I wrap things up, as I said, it won't be a long episode, but ended up in a tie. I think the Raiders and the Seahawks was 23-23, and then we was over here 24-24. Granted, all of our starters wasn't out there. Tua started that, that first drive, went down there. We didn't ended up punching in for a touchdown. We settled for a field goal, but neither here or there. We need to work on that defense, and we need to work on that defense as soon as possible. I don't care if it was preseason. I don't give a damn if it was a scrimmage. I don't care at all. That defense needs work. It needs work. We picked up some valuable pieces that I see, but as I said, we're going to need all hands on deck this season for defensively. I know offensively, all we can do is just pray that Tua stays healthy. All we can do is hope and pray that Tua stays healthy. Reek is going to have a bounce back year. Jalen Waddle's going to have a bounce back year. Devon Achane is going to have a good year. He had a great year last year. Jalen Wright, I'm looking forward to him taking a huge leap this year. He's going to be the backup running back. So I'm looking forward to that. But, the offense, it relies on Tua's health. And if Tua doesn't stay healthy, we're going to be right back in the same position we was at last year. But like I said, that defense needs help. That defense needs help, and it needs work as soon as possible. Prayers to Alexander Madison. Hope that he gets better. He's out for the season. Another one injured before the season even starts. He has a neck injury, so he's gone for the whole year. unfortunate to see that. I'm also praying for that dude in Detroit as well too. I'm not going to show the video, but if y'all watched it, unfortunate what happened there, but I'm praying for his health and his safety as well too. But man, we need work on that defense, and we need work on that defense as soon as possible, because as I said, there's 2 preseason games left. After that, season starts September 7th against the Indianapolis Colts, and that's going to be a win, because the fact that you got Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson as your quarterback, but Anthony Richardson did it to himself. But neither here nor there, that's a conversation for another day that I'll get into, because as I said, I'm going to dissect the schedule very, very soon. But season starts September 4th with the Eagles and the Cowboys. Then you got Friday night, Chargers and the Chiefs. And then Sunday is when our season starts at Indy. So after these 2 preseason games, we got literally like a couple of weeks to make things shake, make it happen. So we're going to see what's going to happen. We're going to see, as I said, this is going to be a bounce back year for everybody, Mike McDaniel included. This is a big year for you too. This is a very big year for you, for Tua, for Reek. Like, this is a very big year for all of you guys. And we counting on y'all a lot. We counting on y'all a lot. So we're going to see what's going to happen, you know. But that's all that I have for y'all. As I said, it won't be a long show. Rest of the preseason games will come on Friday. And then I'll be back Monday with some more content for sure. Absolutely about that. You know, I'm going to be posting more on TikTok and on my Instagram page so I can grow those pages more. Even if I don't post on YouTube. At the end of the day, you know, I would still like, you know, for you guys to like, comment, and subscribe, because I do have other videos on there as well too. But I'm going to be focusing mainly to grow the TikTok and the IG page more so I can boost up my audience even more. But thank y'all so much for y'all support. I truly, truly appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. May God bless y'all. Y'all have a blessed week. And yeah, I'll talk to y'all soon, man. Thank y'all.
In the room, you know I get touched. Yeah, I get around, nigga, you know it. Play me rolling, a nigga, I pull it. I can't save you.